Welcome to a very special episode of the Sporting Club Ireland podcast. We have the wonderful Harry Redknapp with us today after being with us a couple of weeks ago. Wasn't overly impressed with my driving, but such is life. How are you, Harry?
Yeah, I'm good, Mark. All good. Beautiful day. The sun's shining. I've got a busy few days off to London today and then Manchester tomorrow. I'm doing something there tomorrow, watching the game with some people. Something to do with Coca-Cola, I think it is tomorrow. And
Wow.
then Wednesday, I'm at the Cardiff Sporting Club.
You with the guys at Cardiff with Dean Stafford and the guys. They're really looking forward to that one. It should be a great day. It's good to see the Sporting Club Wales going so well as well. So look, Harry, going to go through a couple of things with you quickly this morning. Really appreciate your time. But one place I did want to start is I've kept an eye on you, your career, and many things over the years. But you said something on the most recent I'm Not a Celeb. And it struck with me because there was a time when I was, I suppose, struggling mentally with the sporting club, if I'd made the right decision, etc. And after you finished playing football, you went to get a loan. I think it was for a taxi rank or license, but you were actually turned down. And if you were not turned down for that, you would not probably be where you are today.
Absolutely. I mean, what happened in them days, Mark, you played football and when you finished, you really didn't come out the game with enough money to retire. It was, we had a house we bought a little house in Christchurch, just outside Bournemouth, where I lived when I played. It was when I joined Bournemouth, it was a clubhouse,
Yeah.
and the club rented you the house. It was £16 a month rent,
Wow.
£4, less than £4 a week. And then eventually we bought it off the football club for £15,000. And then when my career finished at Bournemouth, suddenly I was out, looking, what am I going to do in my life? Really, I didn't know where to turn. Sandra was a ex-hairdresser, and she was going around doing shampoo and set, or say, for all the old ladies, ladies where we lived, £1.50. And she used to carry this great big hooded hairdryer round the street. She was 7 months pregnant with Jamie at 6 months at the time. But that was our life, and it was difficult. We really didn't know. We had no real money. So I looked what can I do? There was no jobs in football going. I didn't get any offers to go and coach anywhere. So I thought, I've got no education. I've never worked can't work in an office, or where do I go? So I decided, I'd buy a Bournemouth taxi and become a taxi driver. And in Bournemouth, you had to buy the plate. It was the Bournemouth plates were sold. They'd gone up in value over the years, and I forget now whether it's 14 or I think it was £15,000.
Wow.
And so I went to see the bank manager, Frank Robinson, who I knew. He's a big Bournemouth fan, lovely man. And I went and met him, and I said, I want to buy a taxi. Can you help me with a loan and all that? And he looked at all my finances and everything and said, no, they couldn't do it. It was more, So when you think £15,000 was as much as I just paid for my house anyway. So it was a lot of money, £15,000. So yeah, that was it really. I think if I'd have bought that idea went out the window. And then suddenly I got offered a job out the blue. I ended up going to Bournemouth with David Webb as assistant. So suddenly, yeah, I was very lucky. If I'd have took the taxi, that was like 6 months after I got turned down for the taxi. So I had 6 months really not knowing what I was going to do, struggling to make a living, struggling to make ends meet, in all honesty. So it was a difficult time. But then, yeah, if I'd have bought the taxi, I'd have been still cabbing now, I'm sure.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't have had you in Dublin last Friday. Look, I
might have been dropping a fare off, perhaps, or something. You never know.
yeah, no, look, I think that's quite inspiring. Like, obviously, there's a great crossover between sport and business, and I think everybody in sport and in business, they probably go through difficult times. But I'm always been a firm believer: what's for you will not pass you. And I think this is one of those great cases. What is for you won't pass you. And obviously, you were not meant to get that loan, and thank God you didn't. So I hope you thank that man every time you see him.
Yeah, yeah, I did. I've seen him since. I do. I did see him quite regularly actually, because I used to see him when I used to go and get my newspaper. I don't know if he's still around now, but I doubt he might not be. But I used to see him there, and I often used to say to him, I'm so happy you didn't give me that loan, Frank, you know." And he went, "Yeah, Harry, I feel terrible." He said, "But I couldn't do it. I was, you know, I said, "No, it was the best thing ever happened to me, not giving it to me." I said, "I couldn't, you know." So
Uh,
yeah, amazing how your life can turn. You know, that is how life is, isn't it? As you say, Mark. You know, you know, you get a break in life and everything suddenly turns.
yeah, no, that's fantastic. Look, another one, Harry. You're obviously a man of great experience in football. But like, if you could go back and talk to a young Harry Redknapp, 30, 40 years ago, what are the three things that you would?
Battery went, you know.
Ah, okay.
I've got it on. Do you know, last night I went to bed and started charging and it kept coming on and off, and I turned it off. I forgot I'd done that. I normally charge it overnight, and I think it had run out. I've just got it. I'm okay now. I've plugged it into the so.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
We'll start again, or
No, no, that was no. That's that. We got a great answer out of you. So as I said, I was just going to ask. We'll go again now, and I was only going to ask about. I suppose if you could talk to a young Harry Redknapp, 20, 30 years ago, when Harry was young, if there was three things you could go back and tell him.
50, 60 years ago,
Harry,
unfortunately.
if you could talk to young Harry Redknapp, what are three things you'd love to go back and tell him that you know now that you wish you knew then that would have given you just that edge?
I don't know, Mark. Really, it's you know your life is it's don't ever get down. You know, there's always something there, and just keep. You have ups and downs in anything you do in life, and it's not always going to be an easy passage. And I don't care who you are. There's no one has a perfect life. You know, everybody has days and things that happen in their lives, their families. You've just got to do your best to keep going, Mark, and make the most of every day, really. But looking back on it, as I say, I was, if I'd have bought the taxi, that would have been it. I'd have been driving a cab. But I'm sure my life, I wouldn't have known any different, would I? I've had a very different life since then. I'd have probably still been living in the little terrace house that we had as a clubhouse, but I'd have still been with Sandra and still had the kids, and so I'm sure life would have still been great anyway.
No, that's fair. Look,
And your
obviously,
family is the most important thing, Mark. Your family is all important.
with
If you've got a good family and you've got your health, nothing else matters. Money and everything. You can be the richest man in the world, and if you have, the day someone says to you, "I'm sorry, you've got a terrible illness," your money can't help you. That's it. It's your health. Every day, being healthy, waking up, feeling okay is the most important thing, for sure.
I would agree with you 100%, Harry. And I suppose, when we look at someone like you, someone in the limelight, you'd almost assume you have a perfect life. But at the end of the day, you're just a human being as well. So, as
Of course,
important,
absolutely.
yeah,
You see so many sad things happen. Look at just yesterday reading Mark Hughes lost his son.
that was terrible.
You know, 38 years of age, got two kiddies. Lovely wife. I don't know. So you never know what's around the corner, do you? You
You
just
really
got to
don't.
make the most of every day, and thank God that if you've got your health is your wealth. That is for sure.
100%. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And as soon as my kids come into my life, just gives you a different outlook on everything. And whether you have
Yeah, for sure.
20 million or €5, as long as your health and your family, you're in a good position and you can fight the next
Yeah.
day. Okay, no, that's great. And look, I spent some time with you last Friday, and you strike me as a man, like, obviously you're in a privileged position. People like to talk to you, but you're very good with your time. So I think it looked like it makes you happy when you can make someone's day. And that's not always the case, because it's a pressurized situation being in the limelight, and people coming at you left, right, and center. But you give everyone time on that day, and I'm sure you were tired. I'm sure it happens all the time, but it strikes me as you're very happy to make someone's day, even if it's only a second or a photo.
Absolutely, Mark. I'm very lucky to be in a position where I can do that now. People, for whatever reason, like coming up, having a chat with me or saying hello. I never ever ignore anybody. I chat to everybody, and I enjoy it. Yeah, and you can. Who knows what's going on in someone's life? You give them a bit of your time, you could make their day. So that's what I look to do. And that's how I am. I go out in the morning, I get my papers. The people in the paper shop all know me. Everybody talks to me. The lady behind the people behind the counter, morning, Harry. And that's how it is. I chat. I talk to everybody. I'm no. I don't think. Oh, I'm anybody. I just think I'm. But I've always been like that. My dad was like that. My dad worked in the docks all his life, but he always had time to say hello to everybody, and that was how we were. And so I'm very much, the same as he was, really. And I love giving people my time, and I'll continue to do that for sure. I think it's very important. I hate it when I see anybody who's in the limelight a bit thinking they're above anybody, or being a bit, if give people, you can make such a difference to people's lives by being nice to people. So it's nice to be nice, that's for sure.
100%, and I think it's a very admirable quality. And I have to be honest, I mentioned a few minutes ago, like, I'm a big sports fanatic, and since I started the Sporting Club Ireland, I've been lucky to be in the company of the likes of yourself and many other sports stars that I suppose I would have looked at from afar and put them on a pedestal. But at the end of the day, you're all just human beings. You're all great
Of
with your
course.
time, and you're just normal people. And I suppose, when you're far away from the likes of you think, you have different thoughts, because I guess you are in that limelight. But what I've found is everyone is just a nice human being, good with their time, want to help. And I think it's fantastic. And as I said, me and Aoife were blessed to meet you the last day. Martin O'Neill was the same, and he was over so good with his time. So, yeah. So the story here is that you're
Good.
all just human beings.
Absolutely. I was just lucky to be been playing football or whatever we did. And yeah, but I think we all grew up the same as kids, wanting to be footballers. Very few get the opportunity to actually make it, or be in any sport or whatever you do. So yeah, we're very lucky, but we are certainly never think of yourself being any different or any better than anybody else. That's for sure.
Oh, that's fantastic. I had a few questions that some people want to ask you. So, one was looking for your opinion on West Ham's new majority shareholder, Daniel. I can't pronounce his name, Kernetsky. If you had one.
I don't know him, Mark. I've
Okay.
never met him. So he's coming, obviously. Let's hope. Let's hope. West Ham is a club it's a big club. People say West Ham's not a big club. Three players played in the 1966 World Cup winning team who played for West Ham. West Ham's been a club that played fantastic football back in the day under Ron Greenwood and then John Lyall. Produced great players, had an amazing academy, which unfortunately now what has happened to the academy? Where are the players? I said last week when I came and spoke, where are the players coming through the academies? I heard a guy today, a foreign guy, saying, it's a great testament to the FA that England have got these great young players coming through all the academies at the football club. Absolute nonsense. Where are the young players? Where are they? Tottenham have got not one kid in their first team who's come through the youth team. West Ham haven't got a kid. Where are they? You look at all the big, not one at Bournemouth, not one. I can go through most clubs.
Mm.
Yeah, where are they producing homegrown players? That is a big problem at the moment. I think that more's got to be done. We've got to start giving homegrown players the opportunity to play. This is all we do now. We bring in foreign players every time we want to play. They bring in somebody from somewhere around the world, so the kids really don't get the opportunity to play, which is sad.
100%. Yeah. No, that's a great point. So if you were thrown back into the melting pot next year and you were given the task to bring West Ham back up to the Premier League, what type of player do you think they should recruit to gain promotion? Like Kevin Nolan was probably the right player the last time. Do you see any similar players available, or what type of player? What type of
Yeah,
players
yeah,
would you like to
good
get in?
characters. I think Tottenham have done well already. Tottenham have bought Robertson, fantastic player from Liverpool. What a
Mm,
great person, lead character, good pro. What a career he's had. He'll be perfect at Tottenham.
mm,
Perfect. He'll come in there. They took Senesi, the centre half, who looks a good character,
great
was the
player.
captain of Bournemouth. They look like they're recruiting very well. West Ham, yeah, I'd have gone for a Kieran Trippier, a good pro at Newcastle, or a Kyle Walker from Burnley, still a fantastic player. They
Yeah,
need to bring in one or two people at the club now, I think, who have got a bit of experience, can get them out of that division. That is the key. When I got promoted at Portsmouth at the Championship, Paul Merson changed everything for me. I brought Paul Merson in. He was a signing a week before the season started, and he came in and he was just pure class as a player and made such a difference, really. I think West Ham now need to bring in a little bit of quality, hang on to Bowen if we can.
yeah,
That'll be the biggest signing of all, keeping him for
yeah,
next season because he'll be the best player in the Championship. Can they keep Somerville after the World Cup? I doubt it. He looks like he's had a good start in the
yeah.
World Cup already. He'll probably look to go. So they're going to lose one or two. The midfield player probably go. They'll lose a few, but if they do bring people in, they need to bring the right characters in. That is important.
Yeah, I
Good
agree.
professionals, two or three of them make all the difference.
It's probably vital that almost that they come back up in year one, because you don't want to get stuck in the championship for too long, because you probably lose, say if Jared Bowen does stay for a season, if they don't get back up straight away, he goes. And then all of a sudden, there's a great disparity in the money, obviously, inherent in the Premier League and the Championship. So I think for such a big club as West Ham, this is probably one of their biggest seasons in their existence. They need to get back to that Premiership, and they need to get back ASAP.
Yeah, for sure. It won't be easy. I mean, I think Wolves have come down. They might have a go. I'm not sure. I'm sad to see they've sacked their manager because I like Rob Edwards. I don't know him, but he comes over as a good guy, good at his job. So he's gone. But they might have a go. They might recruit some decent players. Who knows? Southampton could be decent again. They were unlucky this year. Obviously,
Yeah,
made a big mistake with what the manager did with the stupid Spygate or whatever we called
yeah,
it. It was an absolutely ridiculous thing to do. But they've still got the players, so they could be dangerous next year. I think Norwich will be good next year. They came with a good run this season, nearly made the playoffs. So yeah, it'll be Burnley might have a go. They
yeah.
look to come back up. So it won't be easy for West
No,
Ham, but I do think they would be favourites to win that league. But it is a tough division. It's not an easy league to get out of.
I agree. And you did touch on Spurs briefly. Obviously, they've started to recruit well. I'm sure they'll recruit more. Do you see a change in their fortunes going forward? Obviously, this season was, well, not a great season, but they're a massive club. They need to be in the top six, top four, maybe. Like, do you see their fortunes changing over the next couple of years? Are you happy at what's transforming there at the club at the moment at Spurs?
Yeah, I think they're going to buy. I think they're recruiting well. I think they're going to have a real go next year. I see Tottenham certainly. I see him finishing in the top 5 or 6 next season. I'd be
Yeah,
very surprised if they didn't. I think the manager, he knows what he's doing. He's full of enthusiasm. I think he looks. People tell me he's very good. Spoke to Adam Lallana, who played for him at Brighton. Adam lives down near me, and I had a good chat with him one day. And he thought he thought he was a fantastic manager. So I think he'll do well, and I think, as I say, the Robertson, Senesi, they've made a couple of great signings already, and they've just took Van Heck from
yeah,
Brighton,
Brighton. Yeah,
who's playing in the Dutch team in the World Cup. 50 odd £1 million, a big signing. I think Tottenham, they cannot be in that position again next year that they were in this year. They let that happen again. They realise the recruitment has been. They've got to bring in some decent players. I think the manager now will have the biggest say in who comes in. Whoever's been doing the recruitment before hasn't been good enough. But
Yeah.
I think that they will recruit. Already their recruitment looks very good to me. I like the people they're bringing in.
No, very good. A couple of quick fire questions now, the ones that people will tune in to know the answer to. Now, they may have heard some of them before, but this is one I was curious. Who, in your opinion, is currently the best manager in world football?
It's a difficult one, Mark.
Mm.
I always say,
Yeah, yeah,
who's got the best players?
yeah.
Who's got the best
That's
players?
fair. Yeah, yeah,
The best manager is the one with the best
yeah.
players.
That's fair.
That's how the game works.
Fair point.
You
Fair
know,
point. Yeah, yeah.
people go, oh, you could put Pep Guardiola at Burnley this year, they'd have still probably gone down. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
it's that's how it works. Yeah, everybody gets carried away with managers. Um, you know, England win one game, we beat Croatia. Thomas Tuchel's a genius. You can see he's so much he's doing. The team's better now than what it was under Southgate. They're doing this. It's all cobblers, you know.
Yeah.
It's good players. Who's got the best players at the moment? PSG got the best players, so Luis Enrique is the best manager.
Yeah.
But
No, that's,
until next year, whoever wins the Champions League, they'll be the best manager.
yeah, you could probably tell
Whoever's got the best players in England, Arteta will be the best manager again next year, or be Man City's manager, the new manager there.
no.
Maresca, if he wins the league, he'll be a genius. If he wins the league, oh yeah, the football's better than what Pep was playing. If he wins the league this year with Man City, that's how silly it all is, really.
You can very much see my training wheels on there as a podcaster. But come here, you just mentioned England there. How do you feel they'll go in this World Cup, Harry? What's the ceiling here? Is it quarterfinals? Do you think they go further? I watched the
If
game.
they don't win it, it's no good. They've got to win it.
Yeah,
To be a real success, we've had semi-finals and finals the last God knows how many years when we should have won it. I mean, you get through the qualifying stages and then you get into the easy games. As soon as we've had a hard game the last few years, we got beat every time. So we wait and see. I mean, we beat Croatia. Didn't surprise me we beat Croatia. If you'd have asked me to pick a game in the World Cup that I'd like to have had, I said, well, I don't want to play one of the really unknown teams or the poor teams because you never know. It's a banana skin. I don't want to play one of the African teams. Senegal are dangerous. There's some dangerous opposition there. Perfect opposition, another European team, a team that is in decline, have been fantastic for the last 30 years, had great players, great people, but now their best player is 40 years of age. I think I'll play Croatia.
yeah,
That would be the team I probably would have picked. So for us to beat Croatia,
yeah.
it was, I thought it was the best, as a betting man, it was the best 8-11 shot of the team. We were certainties to beat Croatia. So, yeah, and we've got good players. We've got a good squad. There's every chance we could go on but yeah, getting to the final and winning it is what we need to do. Otherwise, semi-final, quarter-final, well, we've been doing under Gareth Southgate for the last 10 years.
No, that's fair. Yeah. And I spoke to you that day, and you told me that Harry Kane was going to bag two.
Harry Kane?
I spoke to you on the day of the game, and you said Harry will bag two, and he bagged two.
Yeah, Harry, well, he'll keep scoring, won't he?
He will.
He's
He
just
will.
amazing. I mean, he's the best centre forward in the world. He can do everything, can't he? He's just a complete all-round player. His development has been amazing, really, Mark. Such self-belief, the willingness to want to train and work and become a great professional footballer is what he did. He went out on loan everywhere. I loaned him out when I was at Tottenham. I loaned him out at Leyton Orient, Millwall, Leicester. Never got a game at Leicester. Never got picked. Couldn't get off the bench. The manager didn't fancy him. Took him. That was how it was for him.
Yeah.
But he never gave up. He kept training hard every day, working hard, practicing after training, spending an hour on the training pitch when everybody else had finished. Wanted to be a player, wanted to improve, and that's what he did. And just amazing how he's become, for sure, without any doubt, the best centre forward in the world. And he could well end up being, wouldn't surprise you, I think he'll probably be the leading goal scorer in the World Cup. And he could be the player of the tournament if England go all the way, for sure.
100%. I'm not going to keep you much longer because I know you have a very busy schedule. But if you could sign one player, unlimited budget at the moment, would it be Harry, or who would you bring into Harry Redknapp?
Yeah, if I was at Arsenal or Man City or Liverpool and I want to win the league in England next year, someone that can make the difference. If I had unlimited, I'd take Harry Kane, because you guarantee probably 30 goals a year. You're guaranteed just a fantastic player. There's nobody I would think that, you can take a midfield player, you can take what you want, a goal scorer. And for me, he would be the man I would take for sure.
Excellent. And the best player
if Arsenal had him be nailed on next year, there'd be the biggest certainty ever to win the league. If Man City take him, I think Man City would win the league next year. That's how good he is.
I agree. I think someone should go in for Harry.
I don't see him moving, no, Mark. I think he seemed to have. I think he seems quite happy in Munich at the moment. And amazing decision he took there. I didn't see any way that he would go to Munich. I said, "There's no chance he's not going to go to Germany. He's got his family here. He's building a new house." Apparently at Wentworth Golf Course. Why would he leave England? There's no chance he'll go abroad, but he did. He took that. He made that move, and he's been such a success. I mean, that's incredible. And Bayern Munich is one of the biggest clubs in the world. You go to their stadium, their training facilities, everything about it. And Harry to score 60-odd goals in one season it's crazy, isn't it?
Incredible. No, it's a brilliant move from him. The best player, and there's been many then, the best player you ever managed?
Probably be Gareth Bale. Was an amazing talent. He had that ability he had everything really. He was probably 6'4", could run, shoot, dribble, head it, everything, complete package really. An amazing talent when he was just a match winner, a match changer, He would have to be probably Luka Modric was amazing. Then I had the other kids, but they were younger players, Frank Lampard, Rio Ferdinand. They were young players at West Ham when I had them. So, I didn't manage them later in their careers when they really, came to the fore and developed as great players. So somebody who was in his prime, it would probably, I had Harry Kane, but Harry was young. But probably I would say Gareth Bale was amazing.
Brilliant. And the most underrated player you've ever managed?
Oh, underrated, difficult.
Sorry, it's a different question, so I threw it in there.
That is a difficult one, yeah.
Well, really, there's, I can think, there's always, someone who's, a real asset to you, but maybe, in the public or, through the sport was probably not.
Yeah, people always say to me, what was your best ever signing? And if I told you who it was, I look back on it, you wouldn't know him. You'd never have heard of him. It was when I was managing Bournemouth, and I'm the manager of Bournemouth in the old third division, right? Division 3.
Yeah.
Bournemouth have never been out of Division 3 or 4 in their history. Never been into the Championship, right? In 100 and odd years, over 100 years, never been out of Division 3 or 4. And I'm the manager. I've gone there, and this is my second year there. And I throw a team together. I signed an Irish boy called Colin Clark from Tranmere for £20,000. I sold him at the end of that one season for £500,000 to Southampton, which was a fortune in them days. And then he was an Irish, played for Northern Ireland. And then I built a team for nothing, really, free transfer, 20,000. And then we get to around Christmas time when we're sitting third in the league. can we ever get out that league? Haven't done it for over 100 years. And I took a player from Port Vale called John Williams, a centre half. I was big pals with the manager at Port Vale, John Rudge. He played with me at Bournemouth, and Rudge was the manager at Port Vale. They got a statue of John Rudge outside Port Vale football ground there. That's how fantastic he was for Port Vale. And he rang me up and said, Harry, we can't pay the wages. He said, we're going to go bankrupt, go skin. He said, we're going to have to sell our best player, John Williams, our centre half. I said, what, the big fella, big lad? He said, yeah. I said, I liked him, John, when we played you early in the year. He said, if you take him, he'll get you promoted. He said, I promise you, Harry. He said, he's different class. And I took a gamble, and obviously he played against us and I liked him. Took a gamble, paid £20,000 for him, and he came in. He was unbelievable. He was a leader. He was a character. He was just so fantastic. Big Willow. And he got me, we went on and won the league that year for Bournemouth, first time in their history have got out of Division 3 or 4. He was some lad, Mark, believe you me, what a character. Wow. I mean, on his birthday, he went out with all the lads, and they've all gone out for the night, right? They was a heavy mob, I promise you. I had my work cut out by the pier, and they strip him naked.
Oh, God.
Right? Oh, God. Strip him naked, 11 o'clock at night in the summer. There's people everywhere. They take, and all the other lads, little Richard, all my players, they take all Willow's gear off, even his shoes, right? They've held him down, dragged it. Now he lives in Bournemouth. He's got a 3 or 4 mile walk now to get home. He hasn't got a stitch on, and they've left him. Can you know, he's ended up. Oh, that was Willow. And another quick story. This was what he was like. We go and play Blackpool away. So we played Wednesday night, we play Blackpool, we're top of the league. We're going to get promoted for the first time in the club's history. 12 games to go. Wow. We go and we win at Port Vale on the Wednesday, and the chairman let us stay up in Blackpool for the game at Blackpool on the Saturday, rather than drive coming back. So it's a treat. We stay up there. I said, no one's going out. Everybody, I said, we've got a great result tonight at Port Vale. All right, everybody, we're at the train. We're getting, we big game Saturday. So anyway, Thursday night, I go, they all had dinner, they'll go up to bed. I'm a mate of mine called Sam Ellis, who was the manager at Blackpool back in the day, played for Sheffield Wednesday, Sam. He come over to see me. So anyway, the players have all gone up to bed. I go to see Sam off in the car park. There's a car park down on the, you drive out onto the road. I go down in the lift with big Sam Ellis. Good night, Sam. Nice to see you, mate. He drives off. Now I'm waiting for the lift. The lift comes down. I'm waiting for the lift, pushing it. Suddenly the lift opens. There's John Williams, my centre half, just dressed like John Travolta. He's out for the night in Blackpool, isn't he? Right. And all the others are coming down. They're all going out. I've told them no one's going out. And the lift opens, and there's Willow, and I'm there looking at him. And he thinks it's like he's seen a ghost. It's his worst nightmare. He thinks he's coming into the car park, down on the underground car park, in the lift, out onto the road. Off they go out for the night in Blackpool. And I've caught him. And I said, you're going home. I said, who do you think you are? If in John Travolta. I said, get up the bed. You're going home in the morning. Right? He went, what can he say? He's just hung his head. No, and I've slaughtered it, right? And he's gone up there. Anyway, next day, I knew I couldn't send him home. He was my captain, but I'll give him a bollocking. But and all the others, about 7 or 8 of them, all waiting to come down in the lift and follow him out. So great lads. We had an update. I still see him now. He's just the most amazing. But he changed everything for me, bringing him in. I signed him and a little boy called Richard Cook for £40,000. The pair of them. Cookie came from Tottenham. We went on and we won the league that year. It was amazing. And the first time in their history, as I say, that Bournemouth had ever been out of Division 3 or 4. Where you look where they are now, to be in the Premier, I mean, it's beyond the wildest dreams. Crowds in them days, 3,000 or 4,000 people.
Wow. We'll all be Googling those two guys later on. I was going to ask you lastly, who is the biggest character you ever managed, but you might have just answered the question just now.
Willow would have been one of them, that's for sure. Paulo Di Canio was a character.
Yeah.
Amazing character, amazing. You know, oh my God, he was volatile, but he was incredible professional. He was in such condition. He looked after himself. He ate the right foods. He'd come in on a Sunday morning for 2 hours with his own fitness coach from Italy, and he'd stretch, and he just, oh my God, he was just unbelievable the way he prepared, the way he looked after, didn't drink, ate the right foods. Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. Luther Blissett was the same. I bought Luther Blissett back from Milan, and he came. No, I didn't bring it. He came back, went back to Watford. I took him from Watford, and I signed him at Bournemouth. And Luther, obviously, he was getting older. Been a great player. He was in great condition, and he came to Bournemouth and changed everything. He got the players eating the right food. He went. He did all the things for their diets, and he did that. He was a player, but he'd been in Italy where the players lived right at the time. They didn't drink, and he was a big influence on the players for me at Bournemouth. He was a great guy as well, Luther. And his first game, my chairman kept saying to me, Harry, why are we signing Luther? He's too old. He's finished. He said, why are we signing Luther Blissett? I said, no, he's not. And his first game, we beat Hull City at home. Luther got 4 goals. And I went up in the boardroom and my chairman said, I said, all right, Mr. I'm full of myself because obviously there's Mr. Hayward, who was a lovely man, but he's been telling me not to sign him. He's too old. I'm very smug. I've walked in the boardroom having just seen Luther score 4 goals and proved me right. And Mr. Hayward comes over and he said, I don't think we've seen the best of him yet. I said, I think we have, Mr. Hayward. He's just scored 4 goals, you know. I don't think we've seen the best of him yet. I said, he ain't going to do any better than that. But no, they were great times.
But yeah,
Bournemouth was always special for me. I had an amazing time there, Mark.
it sounds
No
fantastic.
training ground, no nothing. Every day getting thrown off the training, we used to train in the park, public
Yeah.
park. Put some coats down, train, get thrown off by the park keeper. Beating Man United, in the FA Cup 2-0 when we were struggling, third division team. Amazing days.
A different world now.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Look, you're obviously the transfer king. Any player you almost signed that you still regret missing out on?
Well, there'd be loads, really.
Okay.
Eden Hazard, when he went, Joe Cole rang me and said, Harry, I'm playing with the best player I've ever played with in France at Lille. And I said,
Okay.
well, bloody hell, Joe, you played with some incredible players. He must
Yeah.
be good. And anyway, I went over and flew over and watched him. Absolutely loved him. Went back the following week, watched him again and made arrangements to meet him in a hotel. Had a chat with him about coming to Tottenham. But then at the time they wouldn't. The club didn't want to spend the money. I think it was about £18 million. They didn't want to spend the money, and they wouldn't let me sign him. But I thought he was a fantastic player. And then he went to Chelsea about 3 months later for an awful lot more money. And he was an amazing player, in Hazard.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And this is the very last question of the day, Harry. Because obviously, the sporting club, the business community, when you're recruiting someone, whether business or sport, what do you think matters most? Talent, ability, or character?
Well, you want all 3, really, didn't you? But
Yeah,
you
you
do,
do. Yeah.
character's important. You don't want somebody coming in who's going to be a wrong one and absolutely destroy everything you've worked for, whether it's in an office, whether it's on a football team. Character is very important, the right type of people. You only have to have 2 or 3 wrong ones in your dressing room, you're finished. You
Yeah.
got no chance. I don't care, if you're not picking them or they're around the place disrupting it, moaning about this, moaning about that, bringing everybody down. You can't have them people. You need people that are going to be pleased to be playing for you or working for you, who, appreciate what you're doing for them. So character is very, very, very important for sure. The right people, you know.
Yeah.
But obviously you need talent. You don't just sign nice guys. You need talent. But if you got talent and you got a bad character, then I think I really wouldn't. I think I would probably sidestep him and not bother with him.
No, that's a great point, and that works all the way down the levels. The lowest
Yeah,
level of football you can play in Ireland is Junior B, and if you have a couple of wrong ends, it brings down the spirit, brings down the
oh,
character, undermines
absolutely.
undermines everything a manager is trying to do. So that doesn't matter whether you're managing Tottenham, West Ham, or playing Junior B with Craig's football. It's a key thing that can't creep into a dressing room, or you're going nowhere. So I think that's
Absolutely.
and in business. Harry, you are a legend. I think one of the best stories I ever heard was the fake Irish jockey. What an incredible story. I'll remember that one for the rest of my life. And anyone who hasn't heard it, I hope they do hear it one day.
He phoned me on the week. He phoned me the weekend, you know.
Again.
He still calls himself Lee, but his
Right.
name is Stevie. He still says it's Lee. Yeah. He
any
got
good
so
tip for
into
you?
that story that he actually believed he was Lee Topless.
Oh,
He said of
yes.
Stevie who worked in the pub collecting glasses.
Yeah, it'll be a great documentary one day. But yeah, listen, from myself and Aoife, again, thank you for coming over last Friday. We'll have you over again, definitely. And I've had inquiries
Mark,
about you coming over.
anytime you want to ring me, if you need, I'm always here, no problem.
And listen, enjoy your week, enjoy the sporting club in Wales, and I'll be in touch very soon. Do you still think France are lifting that trophy? I think they were your prediction, or have I got that wrong? Okay. Well, we've done great. Anyways, that was the wonderful, great Harry Redknapp. Harry is a legend. Thank you for your time.
Oh, sorry, I lost you there.
Oh, yeah. No, it's just the last one was, I think you said France were your early prediction for the World Cup. Is that right?
Yeah, I think France will be the team to beat looking at them, yeah, but it's wide open. You know, I'll tell you again, a fair way, I think. USA, they're going to be difficult to beat. And one or two of the African countries are looking dangerous. You know, I'm not saying they're going to win it, but I don't think you'd have a hard game with them. And I think USA will give full of energy, the way they worked and run. You know, a little bit like watching Bournemouth play.
Yeah.
All over you, didn't give you time to non-stop, absolute. So I was impressed with the USA. I thought they looked all right. Pochettino's done a good job there.
Yeah, I liked Morocco. I actually liked Senegal as well. I thought they played well against France.
Senegal, dangerous. Yeah, dangerous.
Good side. And
lucky with Germany the other night. They could have gone.
So lucky. Really lucky. So it's about to heat up. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time. Have a magical week, Harry Redknapp. You're a legend. Live the dream. All the best. Bye-bye.